food has to be loved and loved. You are your own channel. Personally, do not enjoy overconsumption of information.
Saudi life is giving you more autonomy to be who you are, more
True.
safety than
More
what you
safe.
perhaps felt in Pakistan.
Couples holding hands here is a thing. You cannot be too humble about your craft. Humility is overrated.
Any girl in Pakistan can have it all.
Unless they are progressive and raise children who are progressive, keep trying and maybe learn new skills.
I'm fascinated by how migration reshapes identity, what we keep, what we lose. I'm talking to somebody who's a celebrity herself, a social media personality, a chef, a woman who's really interested about women's agency, Pakistani, somebody who is a very calm, very mellow, very good person, but also somebody who has, very strong identity and very strong views about what's right and wrong. And I'm really grateful, Aisha, that you joined me. So I think I'm going to start off with your journey more than anything else. And what would you describe about yourself that stands out to you from somebody who studied industrial psychology to somebody who is today from in the middle being a chef? You can describe it in a manner which is a one sentence or a few sentences, but how do you see your own journey?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored, I'm grateful, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. I think psychology and food, I had always found this combination really exciting, really interesting, because I was interested in psychology and then food also. And then food psychology was something that honestly, there is no, I don't think there was any degree back then in food psychology. But I feel that food is like making food, having the experience of enjoying food is an art. So only if you love the concept of being around food and experimenting with that, only then you should become a chef. You shouldn't become a chef or a cooking expert, or you should not cook just because you have to. So that's my concept, that food has to be loved and loved.
It's a very nurturing thing.
It is.
So you
Yeah.
you chose to be a chef, and then you chose to be a host, then you chose to be a social media personality. Um,
Yes.
you feel this is some kind of a continuation, or is this something that you had to kind of rethink at some point, stop and think, what are you doing? And
Okay. Honestly, when I was very young, I used to watch all these cooking shows and I wanted to become one of the, like TV show host or a chef or just anybody who is a presenter. And I think that there is this link between being a chef, a host, and someone who is a storyteller. And I think that link is sharing. Like, I love to share my experiences and whatever knowledge or information that I gather, like just about little things in life, right? So, when I started my television career, I realized that, oh my God, just because I learned something and I'm sharing it with someone, it gives me immense joy. It could be food, it could be an ingredient, it could be an experience, right? So and I just started doing that, and my zest for food is, I guess, something that I have for life also, in experiences. So sharing my experiences with others, and then that, like, those people are also teaching me something, I'm also teaching them something. So that is the process which was similar in everything. Yeah, the common factor.
you've been there, you've done that, you've seen TV evolve. When you entered that space of electronic media, it was new media at the time.
Yeah.
We're sitting today and we're talking, we're already referring to it as legacy media. So,
Yeah.
because, social media is now the new thing, the new kid on the block. So, how do you see that transition? When did you feel that you're not going to be just in front of camera, you're also going to be directing, editing, creating your own content? When did you realize that?
I learned it the hard way, to be really honest, because I think I still remember 8 years back, all my aunts and uncles who were like, not living in Pakistan, they used to say, "Oh my God, you have such amazing following. Why don't you start your own YouTube channel?" And I was like, I already work on TV channels. Why would I do that, right? And I used to think that maybe they are just, in our culture, they just want to tell you what to do, the mashwaras. So I never used to take it seriously, but oh my goodness, I now realize the importance of social media because you are your own channel. You are not under someone's guidance, what you can say, what you can't say, right? So I think
It's your own
honestly,
sense and sensibility.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, I really didn't want that TV era to die down, I would say, because I'm a millennial. I've seen that, like we used to wait and look forward for one show, for that half an hour slot, 1 hour slot. So I like that anticipation. I still am like that soul. But pros and cons given, social media is everywhere. You can just, approach it anytime that you want. So I personally do not enjoy overconsumption of information, and that also kind of like loses credibility when everybody is talking about everything, and then
Mm.
it's approachable also. But having said that, you have to adapt, like about the book "Who Moved Your Cheese." So I have to I have to ensure that cheese being referred to change, I really should enjoy
Yeah.
this change. So in a way, it's more difficult for people because when Asia, you used to have your own show, right? And when you came back home, you were done with it. You didn't know what people are talking about, good comments, bad comments. Everything was kind of like in your face, coming from a person, like in person experience, right? No trolls and no like bots without any name and just sharing their comments. They could be nasty also. But I think developing, in a nutshell, I think developing thick skin now, if you want to be in any career that has to do with art, is more important than before.
Aisha, I think that it's liberating, of course.
Yeah.
You're your own director, your content is your own content, etc., etc. Your hours are your own. Uh, but I think also you're kind of putting yourself out there, and I know your content you are sharing, and you're choosing to share
Yeah.
very, some parts of your life that TV couldn't have done that for you. You're choosing to share that, and you're getting
Yeah.
really good response about that. You're because you're putting yourself out there. How when did you decide that you wish to do that as well? I know that you moved to YouTube, but the fact that
Yeah.
you share parts of your life, now you're living in Riyadh, you're living an expat life, you're actually sharing, um, you know, how life is every single day, what you do, what you don't do. It's really helpful for people, and I know the response that you get. But when did you decide you'll start sharing parts of your life? Is that incrementally, or is that a decision that you took? I'm really, I want to know. So, consciously or unconsciously, when did you decide to do
Mm.
that?
Okay. So the idea of this YouTube channel, I know it fascinates people. It used to intimidate me. I used to think, okay, YouTube channel for a chef automatically means the kitchen, recipe, everything is curated, right? And that is what I had been told that I should do that. But then, Asia, I realized when I used to work on TV for, I think, like 13 years, I always had to put a smile on my face. My directors, my producers used to tell me that even if you had a bad day,
Yeah.
you never know who is watching you to approach you, hire you, enjoy your show, so you have to put a smile on your face. And which was fine. I was really happy that I'm making people, like, happy to watch my show. But I got a lot of comments on my Instagram, back then, in like, on Facebook, saying, you have such a great life. Oh my God, your career is sorted. You're young. You must be paid well, blah, blah, blah. In a way that, yes, I was extremely grateful, privileged, sure. But then I wanted them to know more, that it's not just about glamour. We also have issues like you. BTS is something that we never share. And then I was like, okay, my YouTube channel is going to be with no makeup, not even a concealer. I wake up,
So very
wash my
conscious
face, brush
decision.
my teeth, and just start sharing the
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
A very, very conscious decision. No, I think that's
It was.
it's something that I think because it's a conversation that two women are having, so it's going to become very, very personal. And I think it's that safe space that you and I have enjoyed, and we can talk about that. I'm struggling with that because I feel that so much of my career has been about, commenting, analyzing, sitting from the side. And I've been trained editorially where the editor's name never comes out. It's not your personality or your person comes in. So I
Yeah.
think for me in this journey, sharing personal life is kind of really your personal
Yeah,
opinion. Really, you're
and you
supposed to
don't,
be
you don't have to do
objective.
that.
You're supposed to be fair. And I was
Yeah.
just having a conversation with somebody yesterday who was like, you're so when you start your conversation with somebody on in this space that I do, you are so quick to determine fairness. Like, okay, this is the fair thing to ask. Your opinion doesn't come in. So I know that I have to learn from people like you who can bear parts of themselves online. I think I'm still
To be
struggling with how to do that.
Well, to be really honest, Asia, I think that's your strength that you don't do that. And let me tell you that we met someone that, who, they know you. They come from some political background, and that superpower is that even when two people are having arguments about politics, which is very common, and everybody just goes really emotional, she always chooses the fair side. That is what she said.
Ah.
Those were her
So
words.
I'm
Seriously.
trained. I will,
Because
as a person, I would always be able to argue even with myself about what's fair. I could argue both sides of a case and I'd say, no, no, it should land here. It should not land there. Yeah.
to be fair, to detach your emotions from what you're saying and to be objective, I think that's a requirement for your field. If you are as emotional as me, or if you shouldn't be raw, you shouldn't be driven by emotions in your field. So, yeah, you're doing what
Yeah,
is
no, I think
required for your
it's a
field.
new field I'm navigating. So anyway, let
Mm,
let me
mm.
I think so part of the fact that you bear your personality, you bear your personal life to the world out there. We're of course talking about a consumption culture, whether you were doing it on TV, whether you're doing it on social media, and we're all consuming that. But I know that online spaces are particularly harsh to women.
Yeah.
I know that for Pakistan, I know that, to be honest, in the world. How have you dealt with that? Have you experienced that its life is, or the comments that you get while you're doing a service, really? You're talking to people, you're saying, this was what my day was like. This is what Riyadh's life is like. I'm an expat, I'm a chef, I'm this and this. Um, how do you deal with that? Have you experienced it?
A lot, actually. Usually, about for women, the harsh comments are either about their age or how they look or their marital status, like these three things. Or the fourth thing is, if they're too happy, they're like, "Why are you too happy? Women are supposed to be very composed and not, like, very polite." So, interestingly enough, and I don't have any issues in sharing it. Like two things. Um, I was asked how old I am on some, like when we have all these breaks in live shows, and then I told them, they were like, "Oh my God, you don't look your age. You look so young, nice." I'm like, "Thank you," and I understand that this compliment is supposed to, it's supposed to be a compliment, but like I feel like my age, which is beautiful. So, and then on air, they were like, "May I ask you the same question, or would it be, offensive?" I was like, "Of course you can." Then I shared that I'm 37 years old. And then on a very, like, I think a very famous TV channel in Pakistan, one of the best, ARY. And then that was the news. Chef Aisha Abrar shared her age with confidence. And again, it was a compliment, but I was like, okay, but should be a, like, shouldn't this be a normal thing? It's
Yeah,
very normal.
absolutely.
What is so fancy about it? Maybe the desirability fact that men, or I don't know, maybe, yeah, men find you desirable when you're young and intelligent and educated, also everything. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be desired by someone. I just want to enjoy my age and the way that I'm aging with
So you
grace.
really didn't have to pause and think about how you're going to deal with this trolling or this issue. And it kind of, I think that's the most refreshing thing about you, that, you can take it.
Maybe in my 20s I wanted to justify, that's now again, like, what age, what beautiful things age does to you. In my 20s, when I was working on Zyka TV, whenever I used to hear something bad about myself, and I'll tell you the bad things, and I was like, no, but I need to justify, no, 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 this is not how
That's not who I
I
am.
was feeling. Yeah, like things like, um कि मैं हवा में उड़ती हूँ. I was like, isn't this a compliment? कि कोई हवा, like having big
Yeah.
dreams and just doing one show, running to another show, not really having time for small talk or anything. Um, I wanted to justify that in my 30s, going to be in my 40s in 2 years. I embrace that.
Really don't care. No,
I
I
embrace that.
think I think that's a good thing. Uh, Aisha, now you've enjoyed fame, you've enjoyed, the fact that you moved from a good career to starting your own career. You're your own producer, your own, creative director, all of that. Um, there's also a one major change that happened in your life. You've moved countries. So
Yeah.
the country that you were in, of course, would always remain your identity, but what was this migration like? You're now living in Riyadh, you're overseas. Uh, what did that feel like? Leaving that comfortable space behind, your, part of your identity behind. How have you adapted to that?
Hmm. So I love change, and I wasn't really sad about leaving my career, because I'm working for digital other platforms also,
Yeah.
where brand, like, I work for brands, so it wasn't like a loss of identity for me work wise. And I was really happy that we are not going anywhere which is like really far from Pakistan, so I can come back, meet my parents. Um initially it started from excitement to this realization that being homesick is a feeling. And oh my goodness, in Pakistan, where I was having all the good problems, that, oh my God, too many relatives, too many friends, not having time for my own self.
Yeah, the weather, yeah, and everything. Yeah.
A lot of, like, your basic needs like water, electricity, and things like that. I then realized that having good relationships, and especially if you're blessed, if you have like amazing relationship with your parents first, your siblings, then your friends, and all the extended family, um, is such a blessing, and it does wonders to your mental health. No wonder if
It
people live
evolved
alone.
you as a human being. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah, we
you
require
truly know
this.
who you are if you deal with the people that you deal with. So it wasn't
Yeah.
a cultural shock for you, or was it a cultural shock to you? What aspect of Saudi life hit you? You talk about it on your blog, weather, everything, the experiences that you have. What struck you as something completely different from your life in Karachi?
Hmm. I think how we it's a combination of positive and negative experiences. So I came from this mindset that I am going to a country where women are, suppressed and they just got their rights a few years back, and maybe being suppressed for me is also a representation of somebody intellectually putting you down intellectually, that you're not allowed to speak, you're not allowed to have your own opinion. That I really didn't feel here. I understood that like culture here is very different. Like my husband's colleagues would have like all these, like meetups, and nobody was bringing their wives. And I was like, okay, let's respect that. It's okay. I'm gonna hang out with the wives. But now the change that I felt. So my husband was like, no, I respect their culture, but I have come from a different culture, which is also beautiful. I'm gonna
That to
take
bring
you
you
along
along,
with
yeah.
me, and they should also see that. We'll see how they respond to that. Asya, I was respected. I Nobody made me feel like, oh my God, you're the only wife here, so you should sit somewhere else. No, the respect that they had for our culture made me want to have this respect for theirs also, right? So I think more than I adapted their flexibility towards our things, just made me respect them more. My experiences, at least.
No, I think that's a wonderful experience. And I think it's so much about other cultures is, we create somebody as the other. We
Yeah,
don't quite understand, and we think, okay, maybe the perceptions that we have sometimes or oftentimes overtake
yeah.
reality that there really exists. But this is something that you had to adjust. But tell me, what has really fascinated you about Saudi life? And I know that you've experienced it in terms of you have Saudi friends, you have expats who've come just
Yeah.
like from other countries. But what particular thing or few particular things about Saudi way of life that has really inspired you or has hit you or intrigued you in ways that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah. So, hospitality. We always say Pakistanis are very hospitable, and we wear our heart on our sleeves, and we say that, we mean it also. But I would say if I multiply it by, let's say, three or five, that's Saudi hospitality. And there's a reason for that. I have experienced this hospitality not just from a certain, socioeconomic status gatherings, but also when I had used like Uber, Kareem, Bolt. They wanted to they wanted to buy me like a Saudi kehwa. And it was not because I was a woman. I like checked with a lot of people. It's their hospitality. Comes from this security, sense of security and safety that,
You
like
feel as a woman
as a woman,
in
yeah.
Saudi.
In Saudi, yes.
And
Like,
that's a contrast with how you felt in Karachi.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like when somebody is being over friendly, in my definition of friendly, to me, I know nothing is gonna happen to me. Nobody is gonna, harm me because they're afraid of the country's laws and regulation. Even if they're a bit, I mean, they like innocent flirting also, like Uber, Kareem, because I'm alone and stuff. But um, the fact that I'm able to ignore that I'm a woman and I have to be safe and to enjoy and to say yes to them is very different. I could never do that in Pakistan. In Pakistan, sometimes when I talk to someone, and not all my experiences are like that, but some experiences where the other person is being over friendly for no reason, I'm even gauging my smile, how much I smile. So that was wonderful. Um, And one another thing, that the dynamic in their family, like a Saudi family versus a modern Pakistani family, the wives, are mostly working in Pakistan, and we're having like mixed gatherings and stuff. Keeping that in my mind, I used to think that maybe women and men don't even show up in public together, right? But then I saw some Saudi couples holding hands, and I was like, okay, maybe it is a certain area. Then I shared it with a lot of friends who were Saudis also, and they were like, yes, couples holding hands here is a thing. And
So
then I
PDA is
confirmed from
PDA is
so
not
very,
considered bad.
yeah, holding hands is like such a cute thing. And I asked, by the way, a lot of Saudis to confirm, reconfirm, reconfirm. I was like, I don't want to have my facts wrong. And that was so beautiful. I wish we could do in Pakistan
In
all
many
like
ways, what you're really saying is that Saudi life is giving you more autonomy to be who you are, more
true,
safety than
more
what you
safe.
perhaps felt in Pakistan. We
Yeah.
know the challenges that we face in Pakistan, of course.
Because there's this hierarchy, Asia. I think that was Maslow's theory that once you feel secure, safe, like food, shelter, the basic things, only then you can self-reflect, love, have emotions. If your basic needs are not fulfilled, if you think that I'm going to smile at this person and this person is gonna, harm me, then you wouldn't be able to have that connection.
Tell
So,
me, Asha, if you could go back and advise the young you about how to navigate life, and again, I'm kind of scared because I'm so scared about my personal space online. Knowing that you are sharing your personal stuff online, what would you advise your young self, the 15-year-old, the 20-year-old? What would you say today, having experienced life now that you have the way you have?
okay, I'm going to say something that is very controversial. It's going to be
Go
really
ahead.
controversial. You know how people say that talent, you need to have talent, you need to have excellence and expertise in what you do, and that's enough. No. I used to think that all I need to do in life to be successful is work on my craft, and everything is going to follow. Sure, sure, work on your craft, but you really have to be driven enough and shameless enough to to market yourself in the way that people know about your craft. You have to meet people in your field. You have to socialize. You have to
You have to put it
network.
out there.
Absolutely. Even if it comes out as someone people maybe think that you're hustling or struggle or a little bit of desperation, it's fine. It's completely fine. You cannot be too humble about your craft, then you're gonna get stuck on one level. You always have to have this thirst. Okay, I want to do more. Networking is one thing that I never took seriously. I used to think talent is the only thing which is required, but you really have to ensure people see your craft. They won't come to you. You have to go to them. That's one thing that
You would
I,
advise your younger self, yeah, about missed opportunities and stuff. Yeah, I think
yeah.
we culturally very, very oriented in a way that we don't think that it's almost looked down upon if you project
Yeah.
yourself, you holding your own candle or whatever, the light bulb, and you're saying, "Oh, you look at me, I'm doing this." Yeah, I think culturally
Yeah.
we still kind of look very, very strangely about that.
And it's so sad, Asya. Humility is overrated.
And I'm surprised that you're saying that because I know you to be a person who's very polite and who has opinions and everything, but you put them across in a way that, they're not in your face. They're not, you're not causing conflict. You're just putting your idea out there. So I'm happy that you're saying what you're saying because That means the journey that you've had also, how many times you've self-corrected yourself. And I think
Yeah.
that's the journey that certainly women in our country have. Uh, I'll ask you another question. Having seen life as you've seen it and having the struggles that you have must have seen, nobody, everyone goes through your ups and downs and struggles and how you do and everything. Do you today believe that a girl born today, 10-year-old today, or any girl in Pakistan can have it all?
Yes and no. If somebody is really clear about what they want to have in their life, maybe it could be like getting married, a certain kind of career, or just any other wish that they have, they really, really have to make it extremely clear, first to themselves and then to others. I think, like you said, that things have been changing, right?
Mm.
Sure, a lot of single men want to marry women who are working. Sure.
Today,
Even if you see today, even stats prove this. But are they willing to understand and accept the package that comes with it? If you are with a working woman, she will be having a timeline of her own. Her weekends are not gonna be all yours and your, like social networking, because she would have her own needs and priorities and desires, right? So that's why I said yes and no. That it's possible, sure, but you really have to be assertive and be clear that this is what I want, this is what it's gonna take, and I have my dreams. Sure, if you want to become a life partner, sure, but this is what it's gonna take.
I think the reason why I'm asking this is I still struggle with the concept when people talk about a doctor who's spent so much time developing their craft, learning the thing and working. The doctor with gold roti thing, the doctor must know also how to make a gold roti, and an engineer must be able to do certain things, and it's still about adapting, and the burden of adaptation really falls on the woman more and more.
Yeah.
Um, it has always been traditionally like that, but that's, I think, the question that I asked is whether it has changed today. Um,
Mm,
and I think
a bit. Yeah. There's a lot of scope for improvement even now.
maybe
But
we've
yes.
moved the needle just a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
the way I see Asia, that um there's a vicious circle that men only know about women's responsibilities and needs and desires what they have been told, based on what they have been told, right? So unless they are progressive and raise children who are progressive, then it's gonna be a clear difference. Before that, it's just everybody's trying to unlearn, basically.
A woman, a career-oriented woman, so working for the US government at the time, said to me that, where your generation is at is where our grandmother's generation was at when they had to choose career or family. Do you know that about Saudi society to say that about them? Are they there yet? I know that everyone that I talk to in the workspace, they say Saudi women are intellectually very, very bright, very
Yeah.
hardworking, go-getters and all. I think they have the thirst to prove themselves, and they outperform men in every field that they work in. Um, I'm very biased. I'd say all women do. They outperform men. But do you know that about the Saudi
But
society?
like you said, all women do. But I think it has to do with the rebound effect also. The more you suppress someone, the more they know that they have to really prove themselves, right? Even with
Yeah.
Pakistani women or like South Asian women, because we know that um, the position that we can be on, we really have to prove ourselves if, like, being a woman, right? Um, I would say that for Pakistan, it took a very long time for people to realize that, women and men should be able to choose whatever they want in their careers. So I think that that's a long way to go, as far as I've observed. They're not there yet, and the change has just started. It's just been, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, and yeah, long way to go. But having said that, if I have seen some really progressive families who sent their daughters to study abroad also, like from Saudi.
That this they've done as a government. They've invested a lot in education, and they've invested a lot in giving scholarships, and culturally being very sensitive in making sure that when women go and study abroad, if a male sort of father or brother or somebody or a husband needs to go, that they've done as a society. I think that's very, very progressive on their part. I
Yeah,
think
so
they're reaping
talent.
the benefit of that as a society where they've invested and they're now getting the returns that they are getting. So that I completely understand. How do you look the next decade of your life? What is it that you've planned for yourself? The goals, the aspirations, the targets, or you take it as it comes?
No, I really have to take care of my health. I really want to age in a way that I don't have the issues that most South Asian people have physically. And I think because of that, they are just unable to enjoy life. That's my reason to like start becoming fit. A and B, as much as I want to work on my career in Riyadh, which I am, I don't want to associate my identity with it. There is some unlearning that has to be done on my part
Associate your identity with where you are right now in terms of
with my
physical
profession,
space.
with
Okay.
no no with my professional success. I really have to. Uh, I really have to work on my self-esteem in a way that it's okay if I try something here in Riyadh as a new profession. Let's say I do not get any success in it, it's fine. It's okay. And then keep trying and maybe learn new skills. I think learning new skills is also in my bucket list for my 40s.
I'm glad you
Ah,
agreed to talk to me, and I'm glad we talked. So thank you very
thank you.
much for that.
I'm glad you invited me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take
You
care.